to confirm it. Please, Chan, we need these things to build stalls for the festival, and you said you would help out a little, right? I really shouldn't, but I guess just this once would be alright. Okay. That's great, Chan, thank you. This is what we need. She holds out a piece of paper for me to take. I'm sure this list was made by Shizune. It's handwritten. But each letter is perfectly formed in uniform, as if it were typed. Not just that, but it's exhaustingly detailed, complete with numbers, bullet points, even little check boxes. What it boils down to is she wants paintbrushes, poster board, and an easel. Just different types and specific numbers of each. I wonder how I'm going to carry all this stuff down the stairs without breaking my neck. The classroom's closet closest to ours is designated belonging to classes 3-1, 3-2 on the right side, and 3-4 on the left side. Each door looking exactly the same. And I guess this is pretty much the same thing for meeting Rin. Further down the corridor, still with identical doors, are rooms that I don't think were used for classrooms. I guess the art room is not a classroom as such. I carefully push open the furthest door and peek in. It's a classroom, but it seems rather badly kept and not in use. Am I in the right place? Yes, you are. Desks and chairs are all around the room. A thin layer of dust settled on them. There are some easels in the corners, so at least this looks like the right place. The room is flushed in sunlight from the big windows, shadows creeping all over the desks. Specks of dust are dancing in the stagnant air, making the beams of light almost visible. Jokingly, I call into the empty room. Anybody home? Something catches my eyes. I stop mid-sentence. Sitting on a desk is a short-haired girl, curiously wearing a boy's uniform with a fork between her toes and a morsel of food stuck firmly on the end. This odd way of dining seems to be caused by her apparent lack of hands, but her presence here is what takes me back even more. How did I miss her before? She was sitting in a corner very still, but I still somehow took her as part of the furnishing or a statue at first glance. I'm not being too observant today as a whole. The girl seems frozen in place, staring at me with huge eyes like a rabbit in headlights. She's staring at me, her mouth wide open, ready to accept the fork. I was staring at her, my mouth wide open, suddenly remember I didn't finish my sentence and trying to think of what I should do. This weird stalemate keeps us both stunned into silence, punctuated only by the wall clock ticking rhythmically. And I need to get more water, I'll be right back. Alright, I am back. Hello! The girl stuffs the forkful in her mouth and is now staring at me expectantly while chewing. This is a bit awkward. Hello? I was told to pick up some supplies from here for some festival stalls, I think. I didn't think there would be someone here. There isn't. That is why I came here too. She picks up another forkful. Doesn't that mean you're here then? She raises her eyebrows as if she was suspecting my observation was false. You're pretty observant. I guess it does. But who are you? This girl's pretty straightforward, isn't she? I'm Nakai. Hisao Nakai. I just transferred in on Monday. Nakai. Hisao Nakai. I don't know. James Bond's reference. I'm Rin. Tezuka Rin. Rin Tezuka. I won't shake hands with you, but at least we know who we are now. That's very nice. Her deadpan manner of talking makes it hard to determine whether she's joking about shaking hands or not. It kind of bothers me joking about these things. These matters doesn't feel appropriate at all. While I'm trying to figure out what's appropriate and whether this girl is, she seems to have lost interest in me and is now gazing yearningly back at her food. Can I continue my lunch, if you don't mind? I won't mind you. If you need to get your stuff, the supplies are at the back. Go right ahead, but lunch? School's already over for the day. What word would you use then? There is no word for a meal that you eat after lunch but before dinner, right? It bothers me very much too, but I don't really know what I should say. I don't think you're supposed to eat a meal between lunch and dinner to begin with. But I'm hungry now. My delicious box lunch would go to waste otherwise. I have curry. It's very delicious. With much decisiveness, Rin once again picks up the fork between her toes, and with at least as much impoliteness, she points it straight at me. So, Nakai, what brings you to this place? Like I said, I was told to look for these things. No, the school. From outside, you look fine. Is your problem inside? I come to a full stop, opening my mouth, but no, not getting a word out. I can guess. I'm good at guessing, better than most people. Rin cuts me off before I can answer her question, or skirt around it somehow. I don't know which is I would have done. I froze in front of this issue again. I haven't even told anyone here about my condition. Maybe it's because it hasn't really come up. I do get the feeling that not making issues of this is a part of the social code here, as the teacher said. I wonder if people here could relate. Probably not any better than any normal person could. I can't relate to Shizun's circumstances, or Lily's either. Naturally, while I go through this in my head, Rin keeps considering what my condition could be, with an overtly contemplative look on her face. She puts her fork between her lips, leans back, looking at the ceiling as if the answer was written up there. A beam of light illuminates her face from the window side, creating a mask of darkness shadow on the other side. I don't think it's anything in your head, and something in your guts would be boringly ordinary, like this lunch of mine, and less delicious. The problem must be in your pants. This messed up Sherlock Holmes kind of statement, and the sheer lack of tact it has delivered catches me completely off guard. I think I might have reeled back even physically as Rin's eyes widen in revelation and astonishment. So I was right! There's something wrong with your tackle, isn't there? Still partially in shock, but recognizing the need to reply to something, I spit out the first thing I can think of. No! Nothing like that. I have a heart problem. Arrhythmia. Ellipsis. I said it. More like blurted it out, but I said it. The girl in front of me purses her lips together and glowers at me, looking very disappointed. How boring. Trouble in the pants would have been more scandalous. What's with this reaction? I'm sorry to let you down. I forgive you. Just like people, and a person with, that kind of problem would have been really great. Collect people. People with different problems, huh? So you just, go around asking people what's wrong with them? Pretty much. I see. With little left to say, Rin resumes her lunch and the conversation dies away. But I keep thinking about what she has, what was said. It's the first time I told anyone about my condition. All the other people have either known about it already or heard about it from someone else, or didn't need to know about it like other students here so far. Should I have told it as a natural part of introductions? Is it expected of me? Hi, I'm Hisao. I have a very serious heart condition. So how am I supposed to go around introducing myself from now on? As if our disabilities would define us? What a disgusting thought. Or maybe this Tezuka girl just has an unnatural interest in such things. As I walk to the back of the room to pick up the items on Misha's list, a chance opens to study Rin from the corner of my eyes. Her hair is burnt auburn, almost orange, and cropped short. Long hair would probably be impossible with no arms. The boy's uniform and lack of arms makes it look very thin, almost scrawny. Makes her look thin. She's not particularly pretty, except her murky green eyes with a flicker of restlessly from below her short bangs, even when she eats. The distance in the shadow makes it seem like they don't reflect sunlight at all, but instead absorb all of it within them like deep wells. She moves her feet almost as deftly as a normal person would use their arms. However, I can see this sight could discomfort people, especially while eating. It makes me feel a bit uncomfortable, at least. I hesitate to think about the word unnatural, but it's too late now, isn't it? I keep searching the cabinets and shelves for Misha's things, but after enough time passes, the silence grows too uncomfortable, so I try to force some conversation out of this strange girl. So, do you always eat alone in this late, or do you get the occasional visitor? Visitors. Maybe you are my first occasional visitors, but I don't always eat alone either. Sometimes I eat with a certain person on the roof, if she's not horsing around. Horsing? She likes to do sports. Oh. And that's all I can say to... all I can think of to say... Yeah, okay. Both of us fall silent again as Rin forks the last bits of her meal into her mouth. I look down at my haul, double check it with Misha's list. It seems I have everything except plywood. So I think I have all the things now. That's very nice of you. Don't feel obligated to stay. I was about to take a nap anyway. You need to do whatever you were going to do with that stuff anyway, right? Or perhaps you like to watch girls sleeping. I'm not sure what to make of this, but Rin looks serious. Even if I did, I think I have to be going. I'll catch you around, Tezuka. You can call me Rin. I feel that our relationship is at this point good enough to warrant this much. I was already turning to make my exit, but she drops me back in. Fine then, I'm Hisao. Then you are. Rin looks at me hard in the eyes, but that intimidating feeling you get when someone stares at you isn't there. It's like she's actually not looking at me at all. She blinks a couple times, and I can't figure out why a pause like this just popped up between us out of nowhere. See you later, Hisao. There's something with a tiny smile there in her face, maybe. I quietly back out of the room. As I shut the door in front of my face, I whisper to myself, what an intriguing person. From inside, I hear a muffled sing-song voice. I heard that. What did she hear? I jump at the sudden appearance of Misha, who I had not heard approaching despite the completely empty hallway. Somehow she has gotten to jumping distance of me without making a sound. Creepily, it briefly reminds me of Kenji's nutty theory about global feminist conspiracy, but I push that thought aside. Shizune, standing slightly behind Misha, looks aloof as she couldn't have heard the remark that drew Misha's attention, but Misha is visibly excited. No, wait, more importantly, who is in there? There's no club meetings today. She tries to curiously peek past me, even though the door prevents her from seeing anyway. What are you doing here? You took so long that we had to come check what's wrong. That's no good, Hichan. She wags her finger at me scoldingly. I found plywood, but everything else is still missing because you are tardy. Oh, sorry, I got things here. I was just about going to bring them. I think you're up to some mischief, Hichan. Who is in there with you, I wonder? Misha signs quickly to Shizune, pointing at her own ear a couple of times. Shizune immediately pushes her way past me and opens the door in the classroom I just left. I can only imagine the shock she is experiencing. With Shizune's diligence and attitude, the insolence of daring to deface school property by sleeping on top of it must be too much to bear. And indeed, she stares at Rin, frozen in place apart from the slight but noticeable trembling of her shoulders from the suppressed rage, I'm sure. Instead of blowing up, Shizune just takes a few deep breaths, adjusts her glasses, and slams the door shut, turning to sign furiously at Misha. Maybe she did blow up, but I can't understand it. She shoots a very loaded stare at me, too, as if somehow my fault that Rin is sleeping on the top of one of the tables. Hope she's not getting any funny ideas about the reason of my tardiness. Hello? Rin's voice comes from the other side of the door, and it takes a few eye blinks to realize that she might have trouble opening it. I open the door to find Rin directly behind it, looking at us with half-interested, half-sleepy face. Hello? Miss Tezuka, what do you think you were doing? You absolutely are not permitted to use school property for such a disgraceful activity. It sure is suddenly very crowded in here. I didn't know I was this popular. It's hard to say whether she's happy or unhappy about this turn of events. At any rate, she ignores Shizune/Misha's scolding so that they have no choice but to drop the issue. Shizune taps Misha's shoulders, points at her and makes some quick sign. Popularity aside, please don't do that anymore. Anyway, how is your project going? Will it be done for the festival? Rin looks at them blankly, apparently at ease under the pressure of Shizune's cold stare it is putting on her. I keep wondering about that myself, too. And we'll think about it harder. As Misha signs her reply to Shizune, her face turns into an unsatisfied frown. Miss Tezuka, please try to take this seriously. It'll be a disaster if the wall looks like someone threw up their lunch onto it. Rin nods assertively. We'll think more seriously. Misha actually giggles at this, but Shizune doesn't, not even after translation. She just shakes her head, takes the materials from me, and takes off with Misha in tow. Rin frowns thoughtfully as she looks after the retreating student council duo. How rude. It's true, though. I must finish my project before the weekend. There will be dire consequences if I don't. The end of the world as we know it. Like weekends usually, but more dire. Much more dire. Maybe I'll postpone my nap to unforeseen future. I'm about to ask what project she has, or what are these apocalyptic consequences, but she walks back into the art classroom. Since you have nothing to do, would you give me a hand? This paint doesn't fit into my bag, but I need it. She kicks lightly at a huge can of paint that's lying on the floor next to the table she was sitting and sleeping on, and lets out a dull clang. Being the gentleman I am, I naturally pick it up. Heavy. Yeah, sure. Where do you need it to take it? Away. And with that, she takes off to the hallway. Me and the paint can following, since there's little choice for either of us.